center is watching right now, I want you to put your fingers in your ears and just go, ma, ba, da, ba, da, ba, da, ba, da. To all the liberals watching right now, all 20,000 of them.
Yeah.
You have the worst heroes ever. Alex Preddy clearly had a death wish. He burned his social media, quit his job. His parents were begging him to get sane. The hospital fired him for being a nut. He didn't step down. Renee Good was a psychotic who had her kids taken away because her bitch wife would abuse them. So she, out of 7 kids, I think she had 1 who I believe she was transitioning, which I consider severe child abuse. And then we can open up the whole Pandora's box of Breonna Taylor, who loved that gang life and had a dead body in her car. Mike Brown, who didn't have his hands up. Trayvon Martin, who was beating George Zimmerman. No, that wasn't Trayvon screaming. That was George Zimmerman screaming because he thought he was about to have his gun taken away by a guy who's beating the out of him.
It was walking with Skittles and iced tea while black. That's the only reason.
That's all. Just going to get some. And he was getting candy, by the way, for Scissorp. They drink codeine and they put candy in it to make it even sweeter, so they don't taste the codeine in it.
Right.
You fucking losers. And even that guy who broke his neck in the back of the car, Freddie. I want to say Freddie Roach, but that's the boxing guy. Freddie Gray.
Yeah. Freddie Gray.
He was smashing his own head against the wall so he could get some injuries so he could sue for millions.
Oops.
Can you have one, like Joan of Arc? Can you have one reasonable hero?
There's none. They all came to the support of Jussie Smollett. Remember that? And now the latest one too. You know, banana rice Somali lady with the Band-Aid on her head, saying that ICE kidnapped her and assaulted her. She was just arrested today for assaulting ICE. They did a quick investigation there on what happened, and they've arrested her for assaulting officers.
Oh my God. I was going to say she already shouldn't be your hero because she said being a Somalian is more than bananas and rice. It's bananas and rice.
Yeah.
So that's enough to cancel out the hero. Even Martin Luther King with his plagiarism and his
There she is, and there she is arrested by the
Where's her
cops
boo-boo?
there. That's hilarious. With her big dumb Band-Aid on her head like a cartoon character. They're
65 IQ.
Characters. I wanted to ask you about the Proud Boy thing. I got the clip here. This is what show is this? Liberal author Tiffany Cross.
Yes.
She was on one of the Talking Head shows, and she really goes off on a tear as to who she believes makes up the rank and file of ICE.
Well, she mentions me, and I don't think she realizes that.
Yeah, the
founder
or something.
She says the founder.
Let's listen.
Furthermore, there's a reason why we have not seen a resurgence of the Proud Boys.
Oh.
And that is because I believe a lot of them are likely made ICE officers. Again, I've said this on the show before. I've not seen any deep dive reporting into who these people are.
You've seen nothing.
They certainly adopt a lot of the ideology, a lot of the tactics, a lot of the violent tactics, a lot of the wearing masks. And it sounds a lot like their founder, what they initially
That's
put
Antifa,
out.
by the way.
So because Stephen Miller backtracks, I don't
Leader,
care.
that's you.
I wonder
Founder.
about all the incidents that are not
Founder,
caught
yes.
on videotape. I wonder about all the people who are sitting in detention centers right now as we sit here, who are malnourished, who are without life-saving medication,
Okay, pause.
children who are...
You know what she's basing this on? A retarded meme that was going around where they photoshopped Enrique Tarrio, who I'm sure she means when she says founder, Enrique Tarrio's name on a list of ICE agents, which I don't even trust the list. But the person who did it was so lazy. The list is all last name, first name, last name, first name. And then it says Enrique Tarrio, not Tarrio Enrique. They couldn't even do that part. Enrique's a felon. You can't be in law enforcement if you're a felon. You can't have firearms, which is why he was arrested on January 5th, because he had a mag, a Proud Boys magazine he was selling as merch, which was dumb, but that counts as gun paraphernalia. So that's why he was first arrested on January 5th. And then he was subsequently given, 30 years for a riot he wasn't at. Ethan Nordine went to jail for 5 years. He got 20. Joe Biggs, I don't think Joe Biggs has been pardoned yet. So those were the rally boys, they were called among those in the know. And the rally boys all went to jail where they were sentenced to decades. Canada, it's a terrorist group now. So yeah, they're laying low. That's why.
Yeah, that's why you're not seeing them.
You're not seeing them.
Antifa, meanwhile, is everywhere.
Yes.
And they're assaulting people, destroying property, wearing masks. So what the is this bitch talking about? You don't even have to play any more of her.
And they're wearing masks because you're dying to dox them and attack their families, go to their homes. That's why they're wearing masks, you dumb.
They know. Antifa wears masks to keep from being arrested because they're committing crimes, to keep from being exposed and arrested by law enforcement because they know they're doing that's against the law. ICE is wearing masks because there are people out there that will try to kill them and their families. There's a big difference.
Remember Derek Chauvin? That whole family had to be evacuated. Or up in Britain, Tommy Robinson, the little kid was accused of waterboarding a Syrian immigrant, which he just poured his water on him. That guy had to, that kid, that 16-year-old had to go into hiding and stay in Tommy's apartment because they were trying to kill him. So these people will not hesitate to beat the living out of your mother, your children, your wife.
They're violent.
Burn your house down.
Violent people.
What do they say in every video? These dumb little innuendos like, oh, certainly don't get a pew-pew and make this problem go away. And they hold up a target that has chopstick holes in it.
Yeah.
Or they cock the slider or whatever it's called out of frame.
It's all violence. That's all they talk about is the pleasure they'd get watching people that they don't agree with be killed. They're fucking psychotic.
Yeah.
They're really mentally ill. Like you said, that Alex Preddy and Renee Good. They're mentally ill. You could see it the way he is like, fuck you, kicking the taillight. Like, that isn't a rational person. That's a person with a lot of fucking mental problems.
Yeah, it's deep-seated hatred. Misdirected childlessness is a big part of it. Daddy issues is a huge part of it. But also, say you're a psychotic sociopath, you're going to be drawn to that group. You're not going to be drawn to a group that has checks and balances and goes to church on Sundays and says you got to cross your T's and dot your I's. That's too much investigation. If I'm a murderer, I'm going to be trans. I want to join the Zizians. And I want to go, no one's going to question me when they killed a border guard up in Canada. They killed their landlord for asking questions. They killed one of their own by getting him into a shootout. I think they're up to like 6 murders. And the press, you got to like dig deep into YouTube to find anyone talking about the Zizians. Yeah,
that's like every day I look at X and think about, thank God Elon bought X, and
thank God.
But it's the only fucking place right now where you can quickly get a pretty good line through a couple of thumb scrolls and reading a few stories about what is happening in this country and worldwide. There's really nowhere else. YouTube, there are some people doing shows and stuff, but it's more of a longer form thing.
Yep.
When I wake up in the afternoon, I open up X, and within 5 minutes, I'll even give it 5 minutes, you're pretty much up to date with what's going on, and you know what the real is, what the is for the most part. You know, you got to do a little more digging, but we would never have that. And God knows what this country would look like without the ability to kind of know what the is going on without it being filtered through mainstream media.
It also reminds you that you're sane. Like you hear about a 5-year-old getting arrested and you think of those giant handcuffs on his little sausage wrists and you're like, oh, geez, that sounds harsh. Do handcuffs even go that small? And then you go, I'm guessing that's not what happened. And then you go and look at it and you see within 3 comments, you see, oh, the dad ran off. And you can't just leave a 5-year-old there. I mean, you can in a high trust society like Switzerland. I talked to someone in Switzerland recently, a baby monster, and they said that they got in trouble from the school because they keep walking their 5-year-old daughter to school. And she's independent enough. That's got to stop. She walks to and from school on her own. And I'm like,
wow,
high trust society. But here we don't have that privilege. And 5-year-olds can't be left alone. And I saw so many videos of like, I keep thinking about him and his bunny hat.
Oh, yeah.
Like bunny hat.
Stupid.
Meanwhile, he's probably so used to his parents disappearing for days at a time that he didn't seem to give a
And they put him in a great place from what I saw. Like, looked like a library with books and entertainment and teachers and I'm sure social workers, whatever these kids need. And if ICE would have just taken the parent and left the kid there, ICE abandons child after kidnapping father.
Yeah.
It's a no-win scenario for ICE. They did what they're supposed to do. What happens, by the way, thousands of times a day in this country, parents or a parent is arrested by the police somewhere. They have kids. The kid needs to be cared for. If there's no relative, they got to be put into child protective services. And if there is, they hold the kid until someone comes up, a relative or something, that can take custody of the kid. What's the difference here?
You tell me your scenario. Like, this is what I do when a kid gets abandoned. But if you have any other bright ideas, like they separate families at the border. Well, I got to arrest this guy. He brought his 4-year-old. Shall I put 4-year-olds in jail with adults? Is that what you want? Or do I just not arrest them? So now we have open borders. Like, let's play out some of your scenarios. I'm interested to hear where we end up because I have a feeling it's going to be Armageddon.
Yeah. How do they play out when, that's just it. They never think any further ahead than their emotion dictates at the moment.
Yeah.
It's
that
I read a
5-year-old
story
like
the other day. There's the headline, by the way, was Trump deports 4-year-old girl. And so I'm like, all right, let me read it. Well, then I read it and it said Donald Trump literally deported a 4-year-old. And I was like,
Get out of here.
I didn't think it was going to be that, but it was absolutely that.
Good.
No, of course it wasn't. This mother comes into the United States in 2018. She does not apply for citizenship. She just here now. So in 2018, she came in here. In 2020, they deported her. They did all the paperwork and said, you're here illegally. You're being deported. She didn't leave. She then gets married to some guy, very short period of time, and then has this kid, this daughter. And now the daughter is, I guess, 4 years old. And the woman is now being deported because she was deported already. She was here illegally, did nothing to stay in the country legally, aside from try to have a anchor baby. Because that's the only reason she had the kid. So they gather up the woman and send her back to Guatemala or wherever the from and take your kid with you. Because God forbid Trump is breaking up families and sending the mom away, but keeping the kid here. So the kid goes with the mother. And the headline is Trump deports 4-year-old.
And what news source was this?
It was all the liberal news things. They were retweeting it. They were putting it, it's easy enough to find.
Then Molly Kimmel, or she didn't take his name, Molly McKinney, whatever. She tells Kimmel that, and he doesn't even look it up. He just gets, I can't wait to cry about that on my show. And then they're getting rid of a 3-year-old girl. We stand by you. Dude, I remember when I was at my best friend Jennifer Aniston's house, and he was there, and he told me a story where Tony Barbieri, who's one of his writers, I know him from the Windy City Heat Project, Tony, and he had said, look, you guys are not producing. Before you leave on Friday, I need at least 3 workable jokes that I could put in a monologue from each of you. And I guess the way they used to do it is they'd read all these jokes to him and he'd be on his computer and he'd go, nope, nope, nope. Yes, that's a good one. Nope. So they give him 10,000 jokes and he takes like 11. So Tony can't think of anything. And Jimmy goes, I go by his desk a little bit later on. I look over. He's crying. And then we both have a great laugh that our friend Tony was crying like a faggot because he had to do his job. Cut to, I guess we're 15 years later now or something. And we've got Crybaby McGee becoming the guy that he used to make fun of. Jimmy used to be the meanest, funniest, coolest guy in town.
A guy.
Like Sid
He was
Vicious.
a real guy.
He was a jerk.
Yeah. And it's just embarrassing to watch him now. You know, and again, it's hypocritical because I've never seen him step up to do his monologue, talk about the multitude of really innocent, truly innocent people that have been murdered by these savages that came across our border unfettered under the Biden administration, especially. And not a tear, not a mention of their name, nothing. Truly innocent. They weren't here illegally. They didn't just commit a misdemeanor. There's not a nurse from the VA that's kicking in taillights and yelling. Truly 100% innocent young people murdered by savages and couldn't muster up one tear, could you, Jimmy?
I did a breakdown. We made it free on the site. But I did a breakdown of those 12 that you put out, and we looked them all up. And they were either hit by a drunk driver going like a million miles an hour. They're terrible. It's not like they bumped them on the highway. They're on the wrong side of the highway, and it's a head-on collision where everyone is just turned to sand.
Yeah.
A illegal Pajit driver who shouldn't have had his commercial license. And then crimes that are so horrific, like raping an 11-year-old and then killing her and then just throwing her in the leaves. You realize that these countries are just getting rid of their Jack the Rippers. They're getting rid of their monsters.
Trump has been saying that.
They want to save money.
The old that flotilla back in the 80s from Cuba.
Right.
What do you think? Only Castro thought of that? What was it? The Marietta flotilla, I think they called it something like that. And Fidel took all of the worst criminals that he had locked up in prisons and put them on boats and sent them to Florida. Brilliant idea.
It works.
You got to admit, now you don't have to care about these people. It probably cost a lot. Even God knows what they were getting fed, but they were getting something. And you got to keep them alive. And just, they're the worst dregs of society. Get them out and bring them here. What do you think? They think, we're not doing that. We're not going to do that. We're Mexico. We wouldn't dream of doing that. They are. Trump says it. These are the worst criminals they're sending.
And he was vilified for saying that. Remember our last show, we had Hope, what's her name? Hope Austin saying that those people should sue when he was showing pictures of their mugshot with their crime. He years ago, I think it was 2015, he called one of the monsters' name was Monster. Like, he's been totally accurate about this since day one. And once again, he says they're not sending their best, they're sending rapists. And they go, and then the interpretation from the left is, so every Mexican is rapist.
Every single one.
Including Trump, the guy that made my burrito this afternoon. You're a racist.
Then they try to do things like they'll hold up a picture of an illegal that went to school and they're doing something. They're like, is this a rapist, Donald Trump? Is this a... And meanwhile, there you go. You found one. Here's 20 in 10 seconds.
Here's binders.
Yeah, that have done the most horrific crimes you can imagine.
Like, even within the world of crime, like raping an 11-year-old.
Yeah.
That's a different level. That's
beyond
stealing.
Crime. That's not a human being anymore.
Yeah.
You could rob a bank and you're still a human. Hey, I needed some money. I'm this, I'm that. Even murder. This guy was my wife. I blew his brains out. Guys can kind of understand that. Raping and murdering an 11-year-old, it doesn't even fit into crime. You're right. It shouldn't be called a crime.
No.
It's an atrocity to humanity and should be treated by just snuffing that person out.
You are. It's a mass exodus from humanity. You've self-deported from the human race and entered a new group. And you sort of see it in their eyes when they're arrested. They're just like,
oh yeah,
like this person is just mentally dead. It's a piece of human garbage. And we
even the most bleeding heart liberal should not consider that person a human being.
Yeah,
and should be fine with however we want to dispose of that person. But they're literally putting their bodies in front of bullets to protect these, and they think they're on the right side of history.
I think it's sub-animal. Do adult elephants, baby elephants? No. It's not done. They're above that. So you're below animals, actually.
You're below animals.
I wanted to ask you, do you think all of these bad optics, and to the stupid community, it is bad optics.
Yeah.
Do you think that's going to midterms?
It could. I have no faith in the American people, that's for sure. At the very least, half of them. I have no faith in. And if people, I always make fun of how a poll can change week to week, and the not sure section is in the middle, and it goes, well, after last week's news, Donald Trump is down in the polls. It's like, who could be that easily swayed?
Yeah.
Where you were a supporter, the poll said this percentage of America, and then one thing happens, you're like, oh yeah, fuck that guy. What a weak-minded moron you'd have to be. But the polls seem to dictate that those people are out there. So I don't know. I don't have any faith in the American people.
Well, they also have this instant amnesia too. Like Obama was the one who had them in cages. Obama deported more. Now that statistic has been skewed by Obama when he's trying to get Republican votes, but let's just leave it as is. The left don't need to know that he was counting people turned away. He had Homan in charge of deporting people. He got an award for it. They forget about that. You were talking about Chaz on yesterday's show. That's just been deleted. We were talking, someone on Twitter was talking about that whole stop Asian hate. And then they realized it was all blacks doing it. So they dropped it immediately. They were obsessed. There was maybe 80,000 people at the Brooklyn Museum during COVID protesting outside about trans genocide and killing trans. Then we realized, they commit suicide because they're mental patients, and it's their grumpy gangsta boyfriends who are killing them. So but every time they have this this revelation where we realize, hey, morons, everything you said is wrong, it's on to the next one. And now, the 5-year-old and Alex Preddy, now that he's been exposed as a lunatic, they are going to be off the map by Monday.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just texting with our video guys,
Yeah.
And I said, guys, you got to put topical stuff up there. I go, you can't, yesterday I wanted the Alex Preddy stuff up, and my kind of breakdown and synopsis of all the little intricacies that happened that led to him being shot. I wanted that up yesterday from the show. And there's something up there about the church thing with Don Lemon. I'm like,
my God,
that's 10 fucking years ago.
Yeah, that's history books.
10 years ago. We need current stuff.
And that was
I also said, not every thumbnail needs to say nuclear, goes nuclear, fucking bitch. I got my demo. You could just put with the title of the video and what it entails.
They'll check it out. Yeah. And that's kind of deceitful too, because you go looking for the nuclear and it's not there. But what
they're doing great jobs.
They are, and the views they're getting is great. I think we're
January 2026. We need to be so topical. These things have to go out the second it happens, or it's old news 2 days later.
It really is. You're joking about Don Lemon, but that was last week, wasn't it?
Yeah, no one's talking about it.
A week. So it's midweek, by the way. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 5 days go by and it is cobwebbed.
No one cares.
And even Alex Preddy, you're talking about him yesterday, and then today we have footage of him kicking the of ICE. So now that sways the sort of Alex Preddy Overton window over a bit, because now we realize we were right. He is a loon, or was a loon.
And now it's kind of the Ilhan Omar thing.
Yep.
But that won't last long unless something is found out that this guy was indeed a plant and
that might buy you a couple
rigged.
days.
I have to think so. Here's play this clip of her kind of giving him a little signal. Have you seen that one?
Yeah.
It's her looking at
short.
him. She's talking and then she looks right at him. It's for a split second. Looks right at him and gives a little nod. Watch this.
Must resign or face impeachment.
There it is.
Must resign or face impeachment.
Look, nod up.
Must resign or...
And what is he doing in the front row? He's big, dumb-looking guy. He's actually like swaying a little into a black guy next to him, and the black guy doesn't even look. He doesn't care that this dopey white guy is drinking a bottle of water, and he looks, he looks like a character from an SNL cold open. Play that one. Play that clip where you see the guy, SNL character. It doesn't look real. It looks like the camera turned around to the audience and it's like, ha ha ha, look at that guy. No, that's not it. Oh yeah, it is. Sorry.
And
look at him.
Round of applause for Congressman
It's like
Omar
Chris Farley.
who's here.
Yeah.
Hi everyone, I'm Hennepin.
He's making like faces. He hits the black guy next to him. Nothing. That's a real, like,
he's got real
terrorist?
charges though. Like when I first saw it, I thought, oh, the security can take him aside and then they can say, we're not pressing charges and we're not calling the police. And then he's free to go. But he did get actual charges. Like he's in, I think he's in jail right now.
And they're looking at federal charges because this is a congressperson and you've assaulted a congressperson. That's a federal crime. So I don't know what bill of goods they could have sold this guy to do this. So if you enjoyed that clip,
then subscribe to Compound Censored using this promo code.